My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap. So, yesterday the Fed basically came out and said everything is hunky-dory. No, just pretty much ignored everything that's happening with rates, inflation, and this and that, and didn't give any kind of clarity on what they're doing with the SLR program, and things reacted pretty well. Tech closed on the highs. Things look technically set up, and if you came in today with 20 positions like I did, you had some time to navigate it. Rates were spiking, Nasdaq futures were lower. The S&P actually was kind of hanging around, so you had different ways to maneuver things, however you maneuver them based on your own process and skill set. I know for me, I'm like, okay, I don't want to be trapped in these things, one day up, one day down. I got to figure out a way to either salvage it. How does salvaging mean? It means buy a little bit versus low and see if you could go green and trade out of it and then figure out, what's next, or trade it versus low. It does not do anything for you, and then you use the 30-minute low and you just get out of the way. Out of the way. Salvage it, take a loss. You're allowed to take losses. It happens. You look at the chart first of all. Let's go to the S&P. If you look where we are, as brutal as today felt, the S&P just took out the 8-day. So, if you're feeling like things are brutal and you're losing more than you should, and it's just taking one down day and not a pebble throw away from all-time highs, you have too many different things on. You have too much size, and not using your tier system correctly. So you break below an upper flag. So if you were playing for it to flag and go higher, this changed that trade. So it doesn't mean like tomorrow we might not be up or go back and forth. I don't know. But this candle that closed below a prior low below the 8-day just said that the S&P doesn't have as much momentum / potential for upside follow through as it did yesterday. Why? I've said that when tech is like a laggard, it's fine, but when tech is a headwind, it's hard for the market to ignore it. I know there's money in value names and things are okay, et cetera, but when the Qs make a candle like this, okay, which is, let's get this out of the way, which closing below all the moving averages, and it's not even close to where it was here, the market, people are going to take some caution, whatever you want to say. 324 was resistance. Pause there the first day, which was Tuesday. Yesterday looked really good. I was long some tech names. Why wouldn't I be? And then today, you had a way to say, okay, if we break 315.50, I need to stop myself out of some tech, or the stock that I'm in puts in a 5-15 30-minute low. When it breaks out a 5-15 30-minute low, I need to sell it because I don't want to hold my nose and go underwater and just guess where it's going, because that reactionary low is done. At 10 o'clock, Red Pup sent out a text probably saying, guys, if you're still in some of your tech names from yesterday, let's see where that is, use the morning low as your stop. So if you go to the Redler Premium, which is your Twitter feed, go back to, let's see, here, okay, sorry. It was exactly at 9:59. You now basically have 30-minute lows to trade against. Example in the SPYs and the Qs. 30-minute lows that at that point was above 315.58. So that was your point of reference. That was saying, hey, if today weakness is going to be absorbed, then it's not going to be such a bad day. 30-minute low holds, and we use that as a point of reference, and we try and generate cash flow based on that. Instead, it bounced off it once or twice and then broke. Let's see what the 1 day looks like here. That was your 5-minute low, right? Then here it bounced off 315, went back to 317, went a little bit below 315, went back to 316, made a higher low, and then really broke it finally like 230, and then gave a big move lower. But really, on this move is when you probably had to say, okay, I'm out. Or, it made the low, and then right here you could have said, hey, you know what? I got stopped out here. Maybe I could buy it verse here, and at least I have my new point of reference, whatever this is. okay, because it went below this. So that's kind of how you gauge it. And then all day it held it. So if you said, okay, I got stopped out here, I can't believe I got stopped out here, because it went below here, at least after this one, you could do it here. You could say, okay, now you have an hourly low, right? This was your 30-minute low. This was now your hourly low. So you were buying versus the hourly low because more time went by. You had more data to trade against. And then the hourly low broke here. Another little fake out by the HFT. Got it below, and then all of a sudden you got stopped out. Oh my God, I missed it. I can't believe they stopped me out. And then it rolled over. Then it finally stayed below and really stayed below. And then it accelerated down. So that's what I mean by, here's your 5-minute low, here's your 30-minute low, here's your hourly low. And then, in the afternoon, it's like, and then I said something in the afternoon when I was like, I don't know where I was. I was on my way back from, taking a Peloton class. I'm like, guys, use the low, if you are still in stuff, use the low of the day as your stop just in case things accelerate later. And this was that somewhere around here, and then that broke, and then that happened. Some guys probably made money short there. I'm just trying to give you guys, some day trading rules. You could, look at Tesla also. So Tesla was long overnight, okay? Tesla, this was your first low. I actually was very, very tight. I bought some pre-market, okay? Went out really well, thinking I was going to be buying it through the trend line. That was my thought yesterday, and then had a huge gap down, couldn't really rally, and then when it broke this, what was it, 380 area, I'm like, I'm out. It just doesn't feel right. And I got out, I went down to 672, bounced back up, and then this really was your, your hourly low. And it really didn't get below and stay below that until later in the day when everything rolled over. This was your first low. This was, this happened in the first 5 minutes. You could say, oh, wow, it just bottomed here at 678. I'm going to try it. I actually tried it again. After I got stopped out, I tried it again and got stopped out again for 3-4 points. But then it got below this and really stayed below it and all the way down to back here. So this is how you use the morning price discovery, because that's what it is. It's price discovery, because nobody knows what's going to happen for the day. You need to use points of reference and price discovery to figure that out. And now, to me, Tesla looks vulnerable again. Why does it look vulnerable? Well, the 650 area that held yesterday and held a little bit now looks like it could break and get to 620. Or maybe even 600. So I also salvaged the puts that I sold yesterday, thank goodness. So as you see, there's no Tesla. So you'll see I was done with Tesla at 11, I was done with it by 9:41, and then I bought it back for one more try for later in the day and sold it 13 minutes later. Then I was done with it. I didn't trade it the rest of the day. People could have scalped it. You could have scalped it here and there, for point. But I was like, you know what? The trade, in my humble opinion, that went from constructive, looking like it was going to take out 704, 711, changed. Now it's got to rebuild and prove what it's going to do next. And at this point, who knows? All you know is that this is a spot. Maybe tomorrow gets below, does a red dog reversal and holds it. Maybe it gets below, stays below, and goes to 620. Or maybe it opens up and hangs in there, and all of a sudden another inside day in this range. I don't know either which way, but at this point, it doesn't look like a take-home long to me. We'll see how it goes. Oh, I didn't realize I was on the radio. I'm going to get yelled at. So anyway, I'm on the radio. I'm not going to be here tomorrow, so you guys are getting extra. This is the recap for Redler Premium. So the virtual trading for us listening, I kept my radio on by accident, full accident. T3 Live Management, I'm sorry. I'm an owner. But anyway, I still report to our team, which has, rules. So I'm sorry I'm breaking the rule. So now you guys are mad at me and my wife's mad at me. Everybody's mad at the Red Dog. Jesus, Red Pup, are you mad at me?
No.
All right, Red Pup's not mad at me. Anyway, we'll see how this is dealt with tomorrow. Does it hold up or break it and go down? I don't know. I was also in Apple overnight, and that broke 122.34. I'll get out of that fast. I didn't revisit that. You know, Apple isn't acting powerful, but it's trying to let you buy dips since of the recent low. We'll see if 122.34 holds. It didn't. I actually gave it a little bit more room, and then it broke, and now I guess we'll see, does 118.79 hold? I did find out from one of my friends who plays the rebalances that there's a lot for sale for the rebalance. So maybe people are playing it, and it's you know, weaker. Some guys, you know, are playing it short and made good money. I just got out of the way, but we'll see. Now what? I don't know. Pain in the ass though. Not the Apple like this when it's trending above the moving averages and making higher highs and higher lows. Now it's high, lower high, lower high, another lower high. Can we make lower lows? I don't know. We'll see. Facebook gave me a nice way out at least. You know, we were buying options buying options in here, and now I'm down to like 20% of the options that I had on. And it also gave you a way to buy it to go green, and then I'm like, you know what? Tech is that week. I'm not going to sit in Facebook. It's had a big move. I'll wait and just maybe revisit it another time. I also took off my Google call spread just because, you know, I was thinking tech's going to hang in there. It might still, it might not, but and take out 21.13 and then 21.45. Now it's back below the moving averages. It's been very, very choppy. Thank God I'm not trading it, but I took off the call spread just to save myself a few $1,000s for now. If it looks better, maybe I'll put it on. Usually I just leave the call spread on. I let it go to 0 and I just lose all the premium, but you know what? I'm counting my dollars for now. Amazon, thank goodness I didn't play. What a friggin' horrible name this has been this year. Probably one of my biggest losers this year. Just looked good, showed relative strength yesterday, and then boom, engulfed it just like that. If I was long it, you know, I would have used 375. 375 didn't hold. You get out of the way, you saved yourself 40 points if you happen to have been long it. But I think everyone on the virtual trading floor and everyone on Redler All Access is like, you know what? I am done with Amazon for a while until I don't even know what's going to take for me to get back in. Maybe a 10-for-1 stocks, but who knows if that's going to happen. We'll see. We'll see. And then I did try and play some breakouts in the mining stocks, the crypto mining stocks, because Bitcoin they were stronger before Bitcoin went green, and then Bitcoin went. Those were probably my buzzkill trades. I did buy SOS through this 850. I was buying it prior also, anticipating a breakout, and now it looks like a topping tail still in this range, so I have less overnight. Didn't work. Didn't work. I thought maybe it would get above 850, stay above it, and get to 960 and work its way higher. Got above it and couldn't stay above it. So you have to adjust your tier size. EBON, I thought was coming out with earnings, so I kind of got lucky there. That I made money on because I was long it overnight. I added on weakness and into the strength. I'm like, I'm selling it because I'm not going to hold for earnings because I don't usually hold anything for earnings except for I'll be an MBIO for earnings, but whatever. It's still hanging in here though. It's still just fine. It's hanging in here, hanging in there. You know, if it broke 970, then it's different. It's still hanging in there. MOGO, I have a little bit on it too. It tried to break out, but when everything got pressured, it broke above and couldn't hold it. So if it doesn't get above and stay above, right? Get above and stay above. If you had 1,000 shares and went to 2,000 shares saying, hey, it's now finally above 1082. I think it goes to 1186. And you got to 2,000 shares, it couldn't hold it. You got to get back to 1,000 shares or even a little less than that. But you're still in that share until this breaks. You know, but if you're in, like, again, that's how you use a tier system. And get above and stay above. So just say you're in 1,000 shares. You're like, wow, it's finally going to get through 1186 and go to 14. Well, to go to 1180 through 1186 and 14, it's got to get above and stay above 1082 first. Got above it, was holding above it. Everything started fading, and it faded. So you had to get out of your momentum shares because it could be here tomorrow. You're only in your momentum shares when it's in momentum motion. If it's not in momentum motion, you're not in momentum shares because it's not getting above and staying above. So that's what that language is for. Get below and stay below, you know, that would be a different scenario. Get below and stay below might be for Tesla tomorrow. People might be like, oh, finally. You know, there's a guy in the chat who was shorting Tesla. It was a little obnoxious today. But anyway, you know, if you think it's going to 620, it's got to get below and stay below 650 to get to 620. If it goes to 645 and then they can't keep it below and gets back above 650, that's a little bit of a red dog reversal, and it'll probably come back in the range. So that's what get below and stay below is. Here, in order to get to 762, it had to get above and stay above 704. That didn't happen. So, little terminology lesson. Some of the other little guys like the TKAT, the OCG, I sold that well. OCG, gotta say, thank goodness I got out of that around 13. And guys are like, well, I think it's going to 25. I'm like, you know what? I made some money here and got trapped. Made good money yesterday. I'm like, I'm gonna sell it into strength. I don't care where it goes. And it wound up being a good trade. AEI was like, remember we talked about the tail that wags the dog. All of a sudden, you know, OCG and TKAT started to fail. So this one failed. Got above 1445 and failed. Didn't get above and stay above to give you a day two. It went above and failed. So what do you do when it gets above and doesn't stay above? You maneuver your momentum tier. I was long it overnight. I bought some early in the morning. It went green. I bought more. Went through there. I bought more. I sold some at 15. I sold some at 15.20. Then I was waiting with my last tier to see if it can go higher. Went back below 14.45, and I'm like, uh-oh, it's not that strong. I got out some at 14, and then I sold some at 13, and now I have nothing. And now this candle means it's not ready for anything. So that did not get above and stay above. That is a very, very important concept when you're trying to play for a day one to be a day two. Didn't happen. A lot of things didn't happen like that today. Me's I'm still in. I bought a little bit of the dip. You know, I traded around it. I bought some 220s, then I sold some 222s, and I'm still in some. We'll see what happens if it could hold this spot now. Wasn't really treated like a bank. And it's something like JP Morgan. Someone's like, "What does it look like?" I'm like, "Well, it looks like a little bit like a topping tail after a big move." So I would have been selling it to that, not adding to it. So be careful there. McDonald's, I'm still in. You know, we were buying it here, adding, selling some, adding, selling some. So if you're doing that, you know, you're trading the action well. I haven't bought any strength, except for I did buy 215s when it broke above that spot. But we'll see now. Now we'll see now if we can go sideways for a little bit here. All right. What else? Verizon, I bought a little bit towards the end of the day because it perked up a little bit. Just trying to figure out something that I could park some money in other than cash. I'm probably back in 85% cash of my, you know, $10 million in buying power. MBIO was stronger and then kind of came in at the end of the day with everything else, but it's not really a trade or a manage. Earnings I'm hoping are coming out soon. Will be better Monday versus Friday. For some reason, they like to put out news on Fridays. To me, that makes no sense, but whatever. When numbers come out, it should show that they have almost 100 million in cash, and it's only a 250 market cap. But it needs a good environment to go. One of these days, I think it will. But it's not really a trade. Still in this channel for so damn long. Should be in your IRA, not on your trading account. What else? What else? Lizzie. You know, some guys are like, "Oh my God, this is horrible stock." I'm like, "Why? How is this a horrible stock?" Perspective. We were buying it in here. It had its move on the you know, whatever that guy was, Citron. We sold some at 14, sold some at 15, and what did it do? Well, it did is come back to the 8-day after a move from down here. So you gotta know where the stock came from, where it went, and use your tier system accordingly. So I did buy it on the way down, and I did sell a little bit into that pop, but I'm you know, it still looks just fine. It could even get to here and be just fine. So know what your time frame is. If you were playing for it to continue and get above 1675, maybe you're done with it. If you're playing for it to accumulate, massage it, and then maybe at some point get going again, it looks just fine for now until it changes. If it were to break this, I would probably give it to this spot. Anyway, we'll see. Miles, somebody wanted me to go over. You know, I should have taken advantage of it. I got stopped out here, and then guys were like, when it was below 10, like, "Don't you think it'll get back to 14 on an oversold bounce?" I'm like, "It probably does." Where did it go? Back to 14, and now it's getting a little rejected. Oh, you know, not much to do here now. If you did buy it in the hole, this is probably a sell. Now we'll see how it, you know, builds more. Overstock. I bought options in it. You know, wow, looked pretty good. Got above 78. went as high as 81.58 and kind of came right back in. Thank goodness I bought it when it was in here. I bought the options for $3. I sold some for 5.25. I was like, wow, we're gonna make big money on this. And then it came back in, so I still have 2/3 of my options on. And now we'll see. It has some time to maybe go again, but we'll see. I was trading the stock. It didn't get above and stay above to give you a nice candle for follow through. Instead, it got above, and when it doesn't get above and stay above, some people view that as distribution. So not a, so that's why it's pretty important. Anyway, definitely a tricky day. I don't know what's next. All I know is that tech kind of changed today. It went from buying dips and making higher lows to not. So I have a lot less on. 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever that was, when the Qs made this lower high, okay, which was, here was your high, hard to see, lower high. I remember I was on the road to Pennsylvania. I lost a lot of money in this unwind. This was the first unwind. I went from 35 positions to like 6, and then did pretty well maneuvering the range to finally this, and then I just had a nice really bounce back, and now I'm in a spot where I'm like, okay, I'm more wait and see. I don't want to lose 50 to 100 grand, trapped. Right now I'm more flexible. Today I lost some money, which I'm fine with, and I feel like I made some good decisions and saved myself some money by getting out early, using the 5, 15, 30-minute lows or the hourly lows. Yes, did I lose, could I have sold SOS at 870? I thought it was going to 10 or more. I didn't do it. It was just breaking above 850. That was like the breakout buy. But, shame on me for trying to find the breakout buy with anything that's not, a value name. Because this is not a value name. Which I haven't been doing much of that. So I'm kind of happy that, it is what it is. So tomorrow I am going to Virginia. I'm going to be in my car from 7:30 till probably 2. I will be watching the market a little bit. I'm probably putting in some bracket orders in the morning. I don't know what the market's going to look like in the morning. If I feel like we're down a lot and the Qs are trading at 307, maybe I try and buy it for a scalp. If we're flattish, I'm not going to come to the office at 6 to 7 because I got to be on the road by 7:30. So Red Pup will be here, and we'll put some charts on. I'll put some language based on what's happening in Europe overnight, what's happening in Asia overnight, etc., where the futures are, and we'll see how it goes. But again, when markets change a little bit, you have to adjust a lot. And then if it doesn't mean anything, you could always revisit. So at this point, I would think high levels of cash is a position, and that's what I have. Good luck tomorrow. I will definitely be in touch. I'm not going out of the country. I'm just driving to Virginia to go to the championship basketball tournament for Chase for the weekend. I'll try and send some pictures. Good luck today. Tomorrow. Bye-bye.